Today we are unboxing, installing, and reviewing this Hooke Road bed rack. Let's get right into the video. Alrighty, so full disclosure, this bed rack was sent to me by Hooke Road, but they didn't ask me to do like any special review. They didn't tell me what to say, what not to say. They just said, here's this bed rack, tell us what you think. So in today's video, I'm gonna tell you exactly that. I will leave all their information linked down below in the description. If you guys are interested in bed racks, roof racks, bumpers, they have it all. I didn't know how much gear they actually had, but now that I do know, I have a feeling there's gonna be more Hooke Road gear on this truck. As you guys know from my other modification videos, whenever I get a package, I'm always super critical about how it actually arrives to the house. So is it in good shape? Is it in bad shape? Hooke Road did not disappoint. The bed rack was packaged really well. As you can see, there's a ton of styrofoam. There's individual plastic bags protecting each piece, making sure that we don't get any damaged or scratched parts, which thank you, that means a lot. I personally like to start by taking everything out of the box just so I can see what I'm actually working with. So starting with what we actually get inside the box, you get these nice foam pads that you place under the bed rack. That way, you're not damaging your bed in the long run. You get a bunch of washers, a bunch of nuts and bolts. You also get these brackets. These brackets are what are going to go into the rail system of your Toyota Tacoma or Toyota Tundra. And then you get these bolts. These bolts are bigger than the other ones included. These are what connect the bed rack to these brackets themselves. We also got some pretty good looking instructions. And last but not least, you get the bed rack itself. All right, so I always say this, but read the instructions. I personally did not. But I've done a ton of installation videos. I know how to put some stuff together. And in case I miss something, you can read those instructions and call me out in the comment section down below. Thankfully, the instructions provided by Hooke Road are actually usable. So it doesn't hurt. Take a look, take a peek. Maybe I missed something. Now I will say, I'm doing this installation completely different from what the instructions recommend. If you have two people, then go by the instructions. But if you have one person, I wouldn't. And I'll show you guys what I did. Real quick, I realized that the instructions recommend building the bed rack on the floor, then lifting it onto the truck. And I don't have anyone to help me lift the bed rack onto the truck. It's not a heavy bed rack, I just was home alone. So if you're doing this by yourself, then I would definitely recommend building it this way. That way you don't have to wait for somebody to help you. But also, if I was lifting with somebody else, there's more chance of damaging your truck. So this way, I think maybe just better overall. This is what I did. I first started by getting the truck bed brackets. Those are the little rectangle things that I showed you earlier. And I started by putting those into the bed rail system of the Toyota Tundra. It comes with 6 brackets in total. You need 3 for either side. So I found this out pretty quickly. To insert the brackets on the Toyota Tundra, I found that you have to loosen the bolts that hold the bed rail in place. So there's 5 of them. I loosened the first 3 and I was able to pull the bed rail system out enough just to give me a little bit of space to slide the brackets in. On the Toyota Tacoma, this part right here is completely flat, so you don't need to do that. But on the Toyota Tundra, it has this little like bulge, kind of like the shape of the bed. So you need to create a little bit of space and you'll be a-okay. Alrighty, so this bed rack is made up of 2 different parts. So you got the main frame of the bed rack, and then you have the molly panels. Those go on the sides. So disregard the molly panels for now. We're gonna work on the main frame of the bed rack. So we're doing it this way for 2 reasons. As stated earlier, I didn't have any help to put the bed rack onto the truck. So this way, I build it on the truck and I don't have to take it off or put it on whatever. It's already built on the truck. Secondly, though, it helps with adjustments. I've built a few bed racks in my day, and when you build the bed rack on the ground, you bring it up here and you have to move it around a bunch. Building it on the truck prevents that big time. So I built this bed rack out and I made 1 adjustment versus a ton, like 20, 30, 40 minutes of just adjusting minor changes to make it, line up to the way you want it. If you build it the way you want it the first time, then you're a-okay. So we're gonna start with these outside pieces. This piece right here is 1 piece alone. Then you have a connecting piece up here. That piece is what's going to hold this and the opposite side together. Start with 1 first. You're gonna get this main piece here and you're gonna use 2 of the longer bolts provided and a washer. Once you put this piece up on both sides, then you're gonna wanna get the middle piece and put that down, and that is going to give you that first pillar. So this piece up here is 1 big piece, and this is gonna help with 2 things. 1, it's going to give this more like structural integrity. It's gonna hold it up more. But secondly, it's gonna let you know if you're straight across. So this will not go in if this down here is more to the left or more to the right. This has to be straight across with the other one, and that'll put you where you want to be. Then you just move on to the next one. You have some bolts up here. Remember, just hand tight for now. Once you get all three of those built the exact same way, then we can move to the top piece. Once you finish this main frame, then you can start with the one in the middle and then the one furthest back. It really depends on you how you want to go about building this. I personally started with this one and then worked my way all the way back. Now we're on top of the bed rack. Once you have all three of these built, like the main structure, you're gonna wanna connect them. And to do that, you have this main piece right here. This main piece is just gonna bolt down into this piece right here. And then this piece connects to this piece and that one all the way down there. Pretty simple. I will say most of this is just tightening nuts and bolts. Now that you have these three pieces built and you have the top part built, now you can adjust it more if you would like. So there's about like this much space that you can pull this bed rack further, or you can push it back that way. It really depends on you. Me personally, I made it as short as possible, so everything is kind of like butting up against each other, which in my opinion, that's fine. I don't need a super long bed rack. I think the way it looks good, and I have a little bit of space right here. And then I also didn't want it too close to that rear window. So for me, this is where I wanted it. Once you have the bed rack where you want it to be lined up and to the length that you would like your bed rack, now we can start with the molly panels. This part is super easy. The molly panel setup is made up of 3 different pieces on each side. You have one piece connecting to the middle frame, and then 2 pieces connecting to the other outer 2. Since I left my bed rack as short as possible, there wasn't much wiggle room for me, but I like it that way. If you want it to be longer, then you can obviously adjust that. As of right now, the bolts are just hand tight. Once I get everything where I want it to go, then I'll go ahead and tighten those bad boys down. What takes up most of your time is the nuts and bolts, but if you build it on the ground, just know you're gonna have to spend more time adjusting it. So that's one thing to consider. It did take me like an hour and a half, I'll just say 2 hours. I built this before going to work, so that's that. There's a lot of bolts, there's a lot of washers, there's a lot of nuts. All right, there is a lot. So you could spend probably another hour or 2 putting those all the way on here. I personally left like half of the bag, but I'll show you where I actually put most of them. I just put them where I felt the bed rack needed them. And then once I have more time, I'll go through and put them down. I've had this bed rack on for, I would say, about 2 weeks now, and nothing has came off. I would say give it about a month and then go through and just make sure you retighten everything. You know, with the road, stuff starts to shake, things come on loose, and then you'll be good to go. Alrighty, time for the review. What do I think of this bed rack? I will say I am going to make a 3-month review on this bed rack, because right now I'm pretty in like with this bed rack. I really enjoy it. I love it. I think it's awesome. But you know, honeymoon phase type deal. So I want to make sure I go through this bed rack, put some stuff on it, test it out, use it, abuse it, and then I'll be able to give you guys a more honest opinion. But as of right now, I really like it. So some of the things I like about it are, it looks really cool. I think it adds like an additional kind of like manliness to the truck. It makes the truck look cool, like there's something going on, but it's just my daily commuter, really. It just takes me to work, and then that's it. Secondly, it gives me more space. 1, in the bed, but 2, for lights. So I plan on putting, see these lights down here, I plan on putting more on the bed rack, and then more on the bed rack, like more. So with this, I don't have to drill into anything. There's a bunch of space for me to actually insert them, which is super cool. Lastly, at least as of right now, it's giving me more space in my bed. If I could go back, maybe I would go with the full cab height, but then if I got a rooftop tent, nothing would fit up there. So I'm not sure if I would have. The only reason I say that is because more space. So I've thrown a bunch of trash in here, and this like kind of gap right here doesn't allow for things to fly out. And if there's, you know, wandering hands, the bed rack is low enough where you can't really pull anything out. So that's also a plus. It's giving me more space in my bed, but it's not really removed the bed cover, because I had the bed cover back here to protect my stuff from getting stolen. People can see that the stuff is there, and as long as the tailgate is locked, they can't get it, even with this. So that's super cool. The only thing I will say is rain. When it rains, you know, we have our dog's stroller back here. Does your dog have a stroller? Mine does. Anyways, if it rains, then the stroller is going to get wet, which sucks. So we've been putting it inside of the truck whenever it rains. Also, we went to IKEA and it rained. We put the stuff in the truck. So if it rains a lot where you live, maybe getting an extender to put the bed cover in would work. But personally, it's fine. I didn't realize, but that was my one dislike. So I was going to say my 3 pros and then get into my cons. But yeah, the only con is that the weather can get to my stuff. So if it rains, you know, I'm out of luck. But if it doesn't rain, then I'm good. Which it's only rained like 6 days out of the week this week. But previous to that, it hadn't rained in a long time. Since I've installed this bed rack, I've gotten a ton of questions. Like, everyone wants to know what the bed rack is. What does it do? What do you use it for? At this point, I don't even know what to say yet. But as you guys know, the time, this will get pretty crowded. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with the typical overland build with, jerry cans and shovels and stuff on the side of it. Maybe I will, but then you'll bully me and I won't anymore. But we'll see. I'm thinking about more lights. That's what I have in mind right now. I know this will be able to carry a tent. It's really sturdy, like really, really sturdy. But as far as my usage, we're just gonna put some lights up top. If a company wants to send me a rooftop tent, that's the only way I'll do it, but I don't feel like spending more money on the tent. Thank you, Hooke Road. This bed rack will be linked down below if you're interested. But with that being said, it's been your boy. I'm out here like an Audi. I'll see you tomorrow. Cinco de Malo. Peace.